again. I was kind of going between doing a more like lighthearted, funny video or a more informative, kind of my opinion on a certain topic, more serious kind of video. And I want to do the funny one eventually. I kind of have more to say about this other thing. Again, I have it written down, so if I'm looking down, it's not because the carpet underneath me is beautiful, which it is, but it's because I have some points written down to help my mind stay organized. So, if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, we are going, or I, and then you can comment your own thoughts. I'm going to talk about the kind of infamous B word, bitches. I'm kidding. That's not what we're talking about. We're not gonna have a conversation about female dogs, although that would be also an awesome conversation. We're going to talk about that balance word that's being thrown around ever so much as of late. And it's kind of been going on for a while, and I never really had anything to say about it because I didn't really know where I weighed in about it. I read what other people had to say about it and I was like, I still don't know. Like, I remember quite a while back, and I haven't read this blog entry again because I kind of want to have my own fresh thoughts and not, in case anyone's wondering about the battle wounds, sidebar, me and my friend went to an indoor obstacle course a while back, like last week, not a while back, and apparently it owned me, and now I look like a banana. Anyways, yeah, so a while ago I read a blog post. I haven't read it since because I kind of want my own thoughts just vomited. It was Megmo, so Megan Morat made a blog post about balance and how it's not a real kind of achievable thing, and kind of about how it's bullshit. And that was a while ago, and I remember reading that and being like, no, that's so false. Like, you can find balance, blah, blah, blah. I think I commented because she asked for feedback and I gave my feedback, and at the time, that's what I believed. Now, and even though I don't really know what it says, I can kind of guess that maybe our thoughts about this are kind of on par with each other. I think I would very much agree with that blog post now, seeing as what I've written down here is kind of about how balance is bullshit. Before you all keyboard warriors get down to business in the comments section about this, let me explain. So I'm gonna start with what I think balance is, like in its most simplest form, I guess. So I've come up with balance being an equilibrium between two kind of categories of self and others. So what I mean by that is like an equilibrium between your personal and your social / kind of like relational to the world and others categories. So again, personal, social, and relational. And I'm gonna do this a lot because when you think of balance, right, you think of a scale. I'm a Libra, so I actually don't really know what the fuck that means. Astrology isn't my thing. So under the personal category, we have your cognitive and your mental health. So your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your values, your morals, the stability in your brain, and like I said, your mental health. So whether you are mentally healthy or you're not, that's just part of it. And then also under personal is your physical health. So your body, the vessel in which you inhabit, that is your personal category. So personal, mental, That is a thing. Mental and cognitive, and also your physical health. So it's basically just you as a person. The other category being social and relational. So like I said, how you relate to others and just kind of the world around you. We have your family, your friends, if you have a significant other, that person, and then just the people you interact with on a daily basis, like acquaintances, people you see at the grocery store or wherever you spend most of your time, coworkers, clients, like all of the people. In addition, you also have vocational, so your work, your job, do you volunteer, employment, job, work, whatever that may be. And that kind of also includes your finances, so where are you financially and how do you feel about that? And I had nothing more to say about that, but I sounded like I did. And then we also have the environment and the community in which you live, so is it a city? Is it a suburb? Maybe like your homeowner society or like your condo board. So the people you interact with in your community. And then just events, so like weddings, parties, any kind of social gatherings where you're interacting with people, sporting event, a sports team. So like I'm literally covering everything in your life. So this is very hard. Don't judge me for my stuttering and my bad wording. So I kind of want to recap that because I think everyone just, okay, balance, like I said, is an equilibrium between your personal and your social / relational parts of your life. And here we have the scale of hands. Oh, here goes with the hair again. Stop touching your hair. Stop touching your hair. Important addition to this is that you want balance within all of these things. So within your physical health, there are different compartments. I'm not gonna break it down that far because if I friggin' break it down that far, we're gonna be dead before this video's over. There are things within physical health, for example, that you want to find this equilibrium. I like the word equilibrium better than balance, maybe just because the word balance is pissing me off lately. So within those things you want an equilibrium, and then among these things you want an equilibrium. So you want the balance among physical health and friends and family, or your mental health and going to social events. So within each compartment there's balance, and among every compartment there's frigging balance. So I think the reason why people are getting kind of angry about the word balance is because it's so complex and so confusing that I'm running out of breath. I'm gonna try to take it down a notch. I'm getting very excited about this, clearly. Is because it is so complex and so confusing to some people, and if you do try to break it down into these teeny tiny compartments, you're just gonna say like, fuck this, and there was no balance on that day. So like I wrote down here, it literally just says too much with an exclamation point and capital letters. It's too much. It's too much for any one person to look at every single thing here and be like, okay, how do I balance these things and what does that even look like? So I am here to tell you the truth. No, I'm just here to tell you what I think makes this thing called balance easier to handle and to kind of get a grip of. And this is what I have found. I was taking a walk in the park when I was home visiting my family, and I wish I had some kind of recording device at the moment, but I was talking out loud to myself, and when people would walk by, I was like, Bluetooth? Maybe, you don't know. I had a lot to say to myself and the trees, and this is what I finally had an aha moment and thought, hey, I could share this with people and maybe they would find it helpful. So happiness, the state of being happy, which is a pretty concrete thing. I think happiness is pretty universal as an emotion, and it is very definable, I think. I think everyone, as shitty as life can sometimes be for varying reasons and amounts of time, I think everybody, I don't want to assume everybody, but I want to say everybody has felt happiness at one point in their life, and they know what it feels like to be happy. And I think happiness is greater than balance. So these things aren't mutually exclusive, they're very mutually inclusive. You can and probably will have both. But if you're seeking balance to become happy, that is very, 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 very hard. But if you're seeking happiness to become balanced, that is a lot easier. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying it's easier. Because, like I said, happiness is a pretty concrete emotion. It's not a super complex emotion to feel. You, I want to think, know what makes you happy. If you don't know this, then this video isn't for you. This video is for people who, at the end of the day, even if maybe you're not doing everything right for yourself, and who does every day, really, come on. If you know those things that make you happy, then this video is for you. Because when you know those things, you can find balance. And you're not really finding it, it's just going to happen. So if you're doing things that make you happy, and let me get into an example to make this more something easy to understand. So for me, I've kind of listed a few things that make me happy. I'm sure there's a lot more. So I have my family, my friends, but I also like being alone. I like going on walks. I listen to a lot of music. But I also like being busy. I like wine. I like working out. I love working out. Meditation is something I've really grown to love. And trying new things and experiences. I love eating. I love all kinds of food and social events that surround food. So that's happiness for me. For someone else, that maybe is their hell on earth. All of those things together, they're probably like, fuck, I want none of that. It's very possible that someone doesn't want any of those things. And I found myself in that whole trap where I was seeing people on social media and people in my real life who had claimed to found this friggin' elusive balance. And I was like, okay, so if I do these things that this person is doing, I don't know, just things that like weren't inherently me, I was like, but maybe if I do those things, like I will be able to find balance too, and then I will be happy. And the more I tried to do the things that other people were doing, the less happy and the less balanced I was feeling. And I was like, okay, this is something that I need to maybe look at critically and figure out what I'm doing wrong. And then maybe I can make a change. So as you can see, everyone's happiness is different. I don't think there are two people on this earth who could go through a list of everything that made them happy and both people could be like, those are the exact to a T same things that I like. Wow. Not one of these things are different. Like there has to be one or two things that are maybe different on that list. So since everyone's happiness is different and the way we go about finding those things is going to be different, your balance is going to look different than someone else's. We are so caught up in looking at other people's lives and thinking, I want that. And I still do this, even though I'm saying all this stuff, I still do it. I'm not gonna lie, like it's everywhere. And this is kind of like what Alyssa said in her vlog, Oh Alyssa, and I love this girl. Like she has given me so much insight into myself and into the way I relate to others. So go watch her vlogs, PS, and read her blog, PS. We can't just say, stop comparing yourself. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's a human nature kind of reaction to seeing other people. Like, That's just how we relate to other people. Like, come on. Like, stop saying don't compare yourself. And I used to say that too. Scratch that. If you ever read a caption where I said that, say, Amanda. You can't say that, but you can emoji it now. We're going to compare ourselves to other people, but you know what? That's okay. But don't actively try to do what this person is doing, because it's not gonna do anything for you. It's just gonna probably piss you off and make you an unhappy little shit. If you seek happiness, and if you do things that make you happy, that probably almost definitely means there's balance in your life. If you're happy, there is an equilibrium within and among all those categories that I listed earlier in the video. Then those categories are going to balance themselves out on their own, and one day you'll be like, hey, I'm living this life that seems to be balanced. And it's not always gonna be like that. It's not gonna be like that every day. It's probably not even gonna be like that for an entire day. Things get out of whack, and then things get back in whack. And I think there's a whole other thing to be said about, and just bear with me for this, there's a balance, I hate the word, but there's a balance of balancing balance and unbalance. Do you get that though? Like, do you get it? So like, on the scale, there's balance and unbalance, and there's going to be an equilibrium where things are balanced and unbalanced, and that's okay, because one outweighs the other at one point or another, and like the net balance is this, if you're happy. It could be for a month where you're like, fuck this shit. It could be for a week, it could be for a day, it could be for an hour, but then hopefully if you're doing the things that make you happy, there's a month, a week, and an hour where you're like, fuck yeah, everything's great and balanced. And that's where the balance and the unbalance are balanced. So that's what balance is. But like I said, seeking balance to make you happy is not the same as seeking happiness that will get you to a balanced point. Seeking balance is way too hard. It's too complicated. There's too much shit involved. Your brain's going to explode, and you're never going to get to the place you want to be, because you're going to be nitpicking each of these categories and being like, okay, my physical health, what am I doing wrong, and why isn't it balanced, and why isn't it balanced with my social events, and blah, blah, blah. But if you just say, hey, physically, what makes me happy? Going to the gym sometimes not going to the gym. Social events, what makes me happy? Maybe going out with my friends once a week. That is all I can take. So if you're doing things like that, and you know that these things, at the end of the day, are making you happy, then the balance will come. There's no magic formula. There's no cookie cutter balance handbook that I can give you. Maybe Shreds makes one. But seriously, I can't give you a magic formula. It's gonna come with time, it's going to come with effort, and it's gonna come with getting to know yourself and what makes you happy. So if you haven't done that yet, this video will be useful for you one day, but first find out the things that make you happy. It took me a while to start doing this, but I'm really happy that I did, and I know that you will be happy when you finally do. So get out there and score a goal, child, kid. I'm gonna be a great parent one day. Happy whatever day you're watching this on. Have a lovely and balanced fucking day.